think a big factor in the Ukraine war is just the overwhelming support for defending Ukraine in the American public and the media. And that's, given a lot of political power to the Biden administration to be active. Do you think in the event of an invasion of Taiwan, you would see the same kind of support for Taiwan from American society?
Yes, for Taiwan, but I don't think it's going to be predicated by a statement by the president that there'll be no U.S. ground forces, right? You can't say that. So we're supporting something different here. Do the American people support giving $4 billion worth of gear, $8 or $10 billion worth of defense support and humanitarian support, and paying slightly higher gas taxes? Yes. It's a different question in Taiwan. It's all that. Plus, do the American people mind placing 50 to 60,000 troops at risk? That's a different, the answer. I don't know that anyone can answer that question accurately right now.
Well, so could you paint for us what it would look like in a scenario where the U.S. does not defend Taiwan, or the U.S. fails to defend Taiwan, and China successfully seizes control of Taiwan?
So if we, there's two aspects to this. It's what's the impact of the loss of Taiwan on our supply chain and our economy, and then what's our failure to defend Taiwan? What's the effect on our credibility as an ally and partner? So on the first one, I would say it would be a significant supply chain issue for us, and not just in semiconductors and microchips, but starting in semiconductors and microchips. If we lost access to Taiwan, our ability to, in very important critical areas, be decoupled from Chinese production would be non-existent. We'd have to basically spend an unbelievable amount of money and a significant amount of time to generate that kind of semiconductor production in the United States and allies and partners. TSMC has that big a market share. But there are other economic problems or logistics challenges in a loss of Taiwan, supply chain problems and a loss of Taiwan. But I center on semiconductors. The second issue, the credibility issue, is just as bad. I mean, Japan thinks we're going to defend Taiwan. Korea thinks we're going to defend Taiwan. Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines think we're going to defend Taiwan. If we abrogate that, I don't think we can legitimately remain the security and economic partner of choice in Southeast Asia and Northeast Asia. And those countries will make decisions, hard decisions, about embracing a non-transparent, non-rules-based, not fun to deal with China, and beginning to abandon their relationships with us. And that would have significant long-term economic impacts in the United States. And it may even impact NATO as well, to some degree, the Baltic states and Poland, although they don't have any other good options. I mean, Russia doesn't want to just be the economic security partner of choice like China does for Southeast Asia. Russia would like to actually reincorporate some of those countries. And so they may not have a choice in NATO. But I think both of those issues, the supply chain issue and the credibility issue, are enormous. And they should drive us to do the right thing beyond the actual just do the right thing, in defending a beleaguered democracy. I mean, what do we stand for if we don't stand for defending a democratic country that tries to mirror so many of its aspects of society off of us, economically and politically, when it's under threat from a clear authoritarian regime that won't practice won't share values and interests with us, as I've said about transparency and rule of law. I mean, what do we stand for if we're just like, yeah, sorry about that? I mean, I think it would be very problematic. I think it would be very challenging for us to maintain our position in the world if we're not a country that can see what right from wrong is in Taiwan.
Well, thank you for joining us today. It's great to have your kind of inside experience and knowledge about the situation.
Thank you very much for having me. This was fun. I learned a few things just thinking through the questions you said. So thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, happy to hear that. Well, that was a really interesting interview. I feel like there's a lot. Well, I feel like I learned a lot, but I also feel like there's a lot of reason to, hope that China won't successfully invade Taiwan.
I mean, it felt like we need to get our act together.
Yeah. But it's doable.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want the U.S. Navy, sending cruise missiles to stop or to destroy Chinese naval ships unless we've also done enough coordination with Taiwan that, like, this is cool to do, Like, if 2 + 2 = 3, because we haven't done good joint operations with them, then, like, there could be a lot of problems with us trying to target Chinese fleet because we could end up causing problems for the Taiwanese fleet and so on. So, like, I really see that if we don't get these joint operations going pretty soon, it's going to be problematic.
Well, I don't think it's so much an issue of, like, it would be a problem for Taiwan if we sank Chinese ships. It's that, crossfire, friendly fire, just like we trip each other up.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, but I think that's a really big potential problem.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the goal should not be to prevent a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. The goal is to support a Taiwanese invasion of mainland China, the establishment of West Taiwan.
Or America could fake everyone out and we invade Taiwan.
Yeah, while China is invading Taiwan, we sneak in from the north and through Russia. Okay.
Oh, no. He's saying something different than you're saying.
No, America should invade Taiwan from the east, and then we control Taiwan. But then, instead of what we did at the end of World War II and give it to China, we give it to Japan.
I feel like Chris's face right now is just...
America should colonize Taiwan? That's what you're saying?
Think about it. They've got the best hot pot. You go to 7-Eleven in Taiwan, they've got those milk.
They have
like
truly weird
fruit
pizza,
milk.
though. I don't know if we can.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want them because their pizza is really strange, and also their sandwiches are a little weird.
Yeah, I really like how we have, like, these incredibly smart experts on, and as soon as they leave, the level of dumb
goes
skyrocket.
Yes.
It's interesting because I felt like when you misunderstood Matt, you were like, oh, this is a great idea. We could sneak in and take China while they're distracted taking down. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
But no, Matt's idea was definitely way more out in left field.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did think about that briefly during the interview. Like, hey, like, if Guam is part of American territory, don't attack that. Otherwise, it's the same as attacking California. If we just took over Taiwan, and attacking Taiwan would be the same as attacking California. Wait a second. I think, like, some Americans would like that.
We don't
An attack on California, not Taiwan.
Okay. Well, hold on. We don't have to colonize Taiwan for that. It just having a defense treaty would essentially...
I see the middle way.
Defense treaty, maybe like an Air Force base.
Have some Marines on Taiwan. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Nope, I stand by help Taiwan invade mainland China. West Taiwan, 1,000 years.
I feel like that was the Chiang Kai-shek dream.
It was.
Can we help Taiwan's old authoritarian ruler achieve his dream post-mortem?
That's beautiful.
Or posthumously, I think is the word.
Hey, on...
That's not the dumbest mistake we've made in this outro section.
No, there's a lot of support on the internets for West Taiwan.
I don't know that there's that much support in Taiwan for West Taiwan.
Maybe
it's a logistical challenge.
It could be because they don't see the potential, the possibilities. If we can say, like, hey, this is a realistic thing. The level of dumb is skyrocketing.
All right. Anyway,
some people like it when it's just us talking. I don't get it.
Actually, somebody commented on a recent YouTube episode of this that they watch purely because of how fast the outro just crashes and burns.
Train wreck.
Yeah.
Well, let me contribute to that today. So, like, I was
think
working.
you've already done it, but okay, go ahead.
Let me do it more so. So today I'm running a script about Taiwan and then the State Department thing, and so which helped me prepare for this. But somehow or another, in the process of researching about Taiwan, I discovered this new conspiracy theory called mud flood.
Oh yeah, I saw your text about that. I did not read it.
So the idea is that in the 1800s there was a mud flood all over the world that destroyed this highly advanced civilization called Tartaria. And they had like free Wi-Fi and all of this stuff, and it's been covered up.
Wait,
But by mud.
Well, literally, and then by the governments of the world.
where was Tartaria?
So like Eastern Europe's the stands area where the Tartars
Yeah, my
were?
impression is like a lot of the evidence they use is like these old maps where like in Europe they didn't know any better about like kind of Central Europe, Asia. They just kind of call them, oh, they're the Tartars, and so on like old maps it would just be like all of this is Tartar land or Tartar. And so they're like, see, this was an ancient civilization called Tartaria.
in the 1800s?
Yeah, it's really recent.
Yeah, I feel like we would have history that debunks that, but you know
Well,
what?
no, because history is controlled by the governments, and they're lying to us.
Wow, yeah, this really did go off the rails really fast.
I know. I'm just fascinated by this thing. I just discovered it today, so it's
But there are some conspiracy theories that are just fun.
like Time Cube.
Time cube, yeah. So, anyway, the look on Shelley's face says, "Let's wrap this up, Chris."
It's because she can't handle cubic thought.